We're honored to be joined by Claude Richardson, Senior Vice President of Human Resources at Delta Dental of New Jersey and Connecticut. Claude, great to have you with us.
Thanks, Steve. It's good to be here.
Delta Dental, longtime supporter of public broadcasting and the work that we do. Let me ask you, Claude, the reason we're having you is primarily to talk about workplace issues. Before we talk about some diversity and inclusion issues, to what degree has COVID impacted the traditional workplace, if you will, from your experience as an HR executive and leader?
Yeah, it's been extensive, Steve, probably the most extensive event in my career that I've seen. So you had a workforce that all of a sudden needed to be virtual. A lot of organizations weren't prepared for that, not only from a technology standpoint, but culturally. Teams weren't used to what does it mean to work virtual? How do we stay connected? How do we still collaborate? Things like that. So all of us have had to come up to speed with all that in a very short period of time to still be effective.
We're taping this on the 16th of February. Say this is seen a couple months down the road. To what degree do you believe, Mr. Richardson, that this is it? This is largely remote communication, remote interaction. This is what we'll be doing 6 months, a year from now, even if and when things get better around the virus.
Well, I could tell you where, from my perspective, I think a lot of businesses had a business continuity plan in place before COVID hit. And a lot of that business continuity plan took into account being able to move work to a different location if your primary location was affected. Well, what COVID taught us is that wasn't really a sound plan because a pandemic affects everybody. So what we found is being able to get a workforce that can work remotely at any given moment is really a key part of your business continuity plan going forward. So what I would like to see when we decide to come back to work, when vaccines, mask mandates, and all of that allow for it, is that a certain percentage of our workforce is always working from home. What I would hate to see is right now we've got that muscle flexed well. So, say we come back to a regular routine, everybody's in the office, 5 days a week. Something else comes up and then we're struggling again. My monitor doesn't work, my speaker, my internet.
Right.
So if we've got a constant rotation of people working from home, then we know that, whether it's inclement weather or something bad, that we can always still be effective working remotely.
Well said. Let's talk about diversity and inclusion in the workplace. Define it from your professional perspective, A, and B, why is it so important now more than ever?
Yeah, I would say diversity and inclusion in the workplace is essentially making sure that wherever it is that you're underrepresented, you know where that is and you've got a plan to address it. And I think it's more important now than ever, at least, in my career, I've seen it become increasingly important as the years have gone by. It's more important now because the workforce of tomorrow is looking very different than the workforce of today, which looks different than when I joined the workforce some 30-something years ago. And so all these different new entrants into the workforce have different needs. And so if we plan to be relevant in our marketplace, we need to be able to attract, develop, and retain an inclusive workforce so that we can still provide products that will be valued by the changing customer base as well.
Do you sense that in the advent of the horrific murder on video of George Floyd, fair amount of time has passed. We're all playing catch up, right? From how bad things have been for so long. Do you sense from your professional experience as a leader in the HR field that most organizations in this state, in this nation, you're in both states, New Jersey and Connecticut, we're in several states as well, but across the nation as well, that there's a genuine commitment to greater awareness of institutional structural racism, A, and B, that there's a real commitment to diversity and inclusion in the workplace because things are different. The workplace is different. The workforce is different. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say most organizations that I'm aware of, because, I've got friends in similar positions in other organizations, I think there is a genuine commitment to being better at diversity and inclusion, because I think they also recognize that changing demographic is coming, right? And so we need to be prepared for it. But what I see is not everyone is effective in trying to manage it. So diversity and inclusion at a lot of organizations, to me, looks like there's a collection of activities and events. So people
Let's
after
check,
a while,
I'm sorry for interrupting. Let's check off the box. Let's say we did that. You know what I'm trying to say? I've seen a lot of organizations say we have a lot of activities and they get points for it or whatever. That's not what we're talking about, is it?
That's right. That's right. Because after a while, people say, well, how many times can we have, say hello in a different language, right? And what is that really driving towards? I think to have an effective strategy for managing diversity and inclusion, there's really four parts to it, right? The first part is a business case. I think when I was younger, the business case, well, it's the right thing to do. Well, a lot of people especially in bigger organizations, they think that somebody else is going to do the right thing. But if you come up with a business case that resonates with all your managers, so for example, here at Delta Dental, our business case has two parts to it. One is talent is equally distributed. And by that, we mean talented people come from all walks of life, be they taller, smaller, older, younger, male, female, et cetera. And the second part of it is that diverse backgrounds leads to diversity of thought. And it's diversity of thought that gives you that creative and more robust business solution that can help you get a competitive advantage. So when people then understand, okay, I get why this is important from a business perspective, then your activities and events transform to becoming a more strategic imperative that's going to help us all stay relevant in the marketplace. I think the second thing is, now that you've got your business case, what's your strategy, right? What is it we're trying to achieve? And our strategy has three pillars to it: awareness, representation, and inclusion. Because I see diversity and inclusion as a journey. A lot of organizations see it like a destination. We're going to get from here to there. But because the workforce is always changing, I don't think you ever really reach a destination, right? So our journey is, we're going to start with awareness, so people are aware externally of cultures, people, plights of others, and then internally their own biases in the workplace that might be detrimental. And then we're going to use that awareness to say, okay, where are we in terms of representation? Where are we underrepresented? I have some data. We're pulling data for that. It's our own internal data, right? Males versus females. Where do they stack in the organization? How does their pay compare? As well as minorities and non-minorities. And then we can see where we're underrepresented, put a plan in place to address it. And then once you've got more people in the organization that are looking, of different backgrounds, how do you then create a culture where they feel inclusive? That's the third pillar, so that they stay and you don't have a revolving door.
You just helped a lot of people. Claude Richardson is the Senior Vice President of Human Resources at Delta Dental of New Jersey and Connecticut. Mr. Richardson, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, Claude.
Excellent. Thanks for having me, Steve.
You got it. I'm Steve Adubato. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Golden Tate, wide receiver with your New York Giants. Our partners at Hackensack Meridian Health are looking to break through the defense of COVID-19 through a vaccine trial. They are looking to enroll people of diverse backgrounds to better understand how well a vaccine might work for people of different ages, ethnicities, and health conditions. Together, we can find the virus's weakness and win the biggest victory of our time. To find out if you're eligible, go to hackensackmeridianhealth.org/COVID-19.
Also brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, New Jersey Sharing Network, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the New Jersey Education Association, PSC&G, committed to providing safe, reliable energy now and in the future. The Russell Berry Foundation, making a difference. NJM Insurance Group, serving New Jersey's drivers, homeowners, and business owners for more than 100 years. The Fidelco Group, and by Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.